Hey guys, and welcome back to Car Collections, and welcome to the first video of my new series called the Weekly Car Talk. If you guys know, my channel is mainly based on die-cast cars, but I'm going to try and start a new series called the Weekly Car Talk. We're going to see how the videos do. If you guys like the videos, then we are going to continue with it, and it's kind of just going to be a recap on some of the news going on in the automotive world, and if there's any news on die-cast cars, we'll also get into that. So that's going to be today's video, and I am going to try and post it every week, weekly. Not sure what day. It will probably just vary because these do kind of take sort of a while to make. Speaking of a while to make, I'm going to be slightly busy coming up, so I'm trying my best to make content. I'm a little behind on making content, so if you guys are a day or two without a video, again, I know I've said this before, I'm not going anywhere, but let's get straight into it with the first set of news, which would be the Toyota BZ Woodland. Basically, if you guys do not know, Toyota has a electric SUV, the BZ4X, that shares a platform with the Subaru Solterra. That car came out about a year or so ago, maybe a little longer, and it hasn't been doing that great. Really not that great, but Toyota is coming out with a BZ Woodland edition, and it's meant to be, Toyota's new, more outdoorsy EV. It's going to have 375 horsepower, and it should have a total of 260 miles. They do not have pricing yet on this, but a twin version, like we saw, the Solterra and the Subaru, the Solterra and the BZ4X. The Subaru version of this will be called the Subaru Trail Seeker. There's not a photo of that here, but this is overall just a photo of the front and, of course, the back of the BZ Woodland. And I honestly don't think it looks that bad. I definitely think it looks better than the BZ4X. I like the front look better than the back look. I definitely like this model. I like the wheels on this model. I'm not a huge fan of the wheels on this one, but, overall, hopefully this will be a car that can, maybe get Toyota back on their track with the, making EVs. And, you'd think that Toyota would be one of the best in the EV segment because they're one of the best in the hybrid segment, but that really hasn't been the case, unfortunately. But let's move in to the second news story, which is Hemi is possibly back. The Hemi engine will finally come back. Let's just say the lack of a Hemi engine has caused some problem with Dodge Jeep Chrysler Ram, otherwise known as Stellantis, is going through some rough times, and yeah, let's just say they're going through some rough times. First, they got rid of the Hemi engine, and I believe the CEO that actually, or whoever conducted that decision, I believe, is no longer working for the company. But somebody conducted that decision, very bad decision. I mean, hear me out. The Hurricane engine on paper looks good, but it's not, I don't know, it's just not that great in these other vehicles, and I think it was a good attempt, and, I think, you think too, after all these years, maybe it's time for Stellantis to get a new engine, but they kind of are going through a rough time. For starters, their EVs are not doing that great. I watch YouTube videos on people who have EV chargers and, Wagoneer S's, and all they seem to make videos about is the car breaking itself in their driveway or something crazily absurd like that. So it doesn't seem like they're doing very well. I do have to say, I do like the look of the new Charger EV, but they've lost $2.68 billion on that car, which is absolutely crazy. Now that is according to that's I don't know the word I'm looking for. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate. Don't quote me on that, but they've definitely lost a good chunk of money on that car. I think it looks kind of good. I think it's kind of cool. They will be making a gas version, but even the gas version I don't think is going to do that well, because they put the gas version in the Hurricane. They put the Hurricane engine in the Ram 1500, which used to have a Hemi. And now that truck hasn't been doing well. And that's clearly stated when you look at the lack of sales with the Ram 1500 RHO, which used to have a Hemi, now has a Hurricane, which I think that truck's still very cool and it's still pretty awesome. but it hasn't been selling that well, and I'm not really sure why, because I don't think the Hurricane engine's terrible, especially fuel economy on the regular wheels, not the meaty wheels. You can actually get pretty good miles per gallon. Now, what do I mean about not the meaty wheels? Well, I watched this guy on YouTube, Auto Auction Rebuilds. Definitely go check him out. He makes some really good content. I like his content quite a bit. I'm subscribed. Definitely check him out. But he was talking about how he had a Rebel that was rated at like 25. Definitely go watch his video to figure out more about it. All I know is it didn't get the fuel economy that it was rated to because of the more meaty tires. And I'll link his video into the description. If you're interested into his channel, I'll link it in the description. I definitely like his content a lot, and I definitely check him out. But yeah. So just I think Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Ram could use some help. They're really not in a great position. Chrysler only has one product now. The Dodge Hornet hasn't done well. That car's supposed to be really not reliable. So they're really kind of just not doing that well, which is unfortunate. But let's look at the next slide, which is the new Model Y is doing very well. Basically, Tesla they redesigned their Model Y. As you can see here, they call it the Model Y Juniper. I use air quotes because Tesla did not give it that name. Same thing with the Model 3 Highland. That was kind of just an internet name that people, identify it as. And it's done shockingly well. I mean, hear me out. I don't know numbers, but all I know is I've seen like over 5 in my area. Like you see a lot of them. And I see more of the new ones than I do the old ones, which is kind of surprising. And I actually sat in one today and checked one out because it was very interesting to see what the new one was like. And it's honestly really nice. The interior materials feels nice. You do get the addition. You can now raise and lower the rear seats from the back, which I think that's a pretty nice touch that not many EVs in this class probably have. So that's definitely a nice touch there, and definitely a nice thing to see, and that car is doing very well. So so let's move on to the next story. We're approaching the final story here, which would be Hyundai going crazy. As we can see right here, there's a photo of the Hyundai Ioniq 9, which the Hyundai Ioniq lineup is Hyundai's electric lineup. If you remember, a while back, Hyundai had a car called the Ioniq. It was kind of a sort of a weird-looking electric hatchback sedan. I don't really know what you quite call it. It was interesting looking, and that car was the Ioniq, and then they made the Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 6, and now the Ioniq 9, which don't ask me why they go from 5, 6, first off, they skip 1, 2, 3, and 4, then they go to 5, then they go to 6, and then they skip 7 and 8. I don't really know how that whole numbering situation works, but Hyundai has been going for a very bold styling, and I kind of like to see that, I like to see a brand going out of the norm. It's definitely going to be, one of those situations where it's like, they either love it or they don't. That's kind of the whole situation with that, in my opinion. But, yeah, so that's my overall, thoughts on that, and I think it's pretty cool. I like to see that they're doing something interesting, and I don't completely hate it. I really don't mind it. But let's move on to the final piece of news, I believe, which is this is a diecast channel. How can I not include a diecast car or story in the news? And that is right, we are getting a new Matchbox moving parts lineup. I apologize, this is not a great photo. I was unable to find actual photos, so I had to just screenshot this zoomed in shot here. But as you guys can see, we are getting new Matchbox moving parts products. We are getting not sure what that is, to be honest, but we're getting a Sequoia TRD Pro, which looks cool. Not sure what that is. A Cadillac Escalade iClue, a Volkswagen ID Buzz, which this one seems very interesting because the van door slides. You don't see many Matchbox moving parts like that. And of course the Tesla Cybertruck, that one is also cool. I plan on getting the Sequoia and the Cadillac. I probably won't get the others. Those are the two I'll be getting. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this type of content. If you did, I'm glad, and we'll be back in the next one.